Hi, this is Julie and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to talk about things I wish I would have known before I bought. You are purchasing a used car. Take somebody that knows about cars with you until you get the hang of purchasing cars. First of all, know that they're there to make money. So whether that car works or not when you drive off the lot, especially if it's an as-is car, you definitely need to test drive it without the radio on. Don't be all razzle-dazzle with how the car looks. What's important is how the car drives, because you can have a nice looking car that don't work and will sit in your driveway and not do nothing, and it's just going to be a waste of money. You want to look at the tires and see how bald they are. Bad tires can make your car shake. It can make it seem like something is really wrong with your car. You don't want to get tires that are bad or bald or dry. But if you don't have the money to get the car and get new tires, then I suggest you look at the tires and make sure they're decent tires. When you're driving the car, listen to it with the radio off. You want to listen to how it sounds when you're stopping to make sure that the brakes are good, how it stops. Does it take it a long time to stop? Are you having to really press on the brake? You want to see, is it making that squeaking noise when you're coming to a stop? There's a thing on the actual brake pad called a squealer. So once the brake pad starts wearing down, it hits that squealer and makes that noise on purpose, and it's to tell you that it's time to change your brakes. Get an oil change as soon as you get the car. I don't care what they tell you, just to make sure you know from this starting point, I've changed the oil in the car, and keep it up, especially if it's a used car, especially if it's a car that has a lot of miles on it. If you keep up the oil change on the car and take care of your car, it will last you a while. As long as you make sure you're keeping up the maintenance on it. I used to just go to Walmart all the time to get my oil changes, but now they closed them all since COVID. But they have Service Kings and all these other oil, Lube Express. I don't know what it is locally where you are. When you initially get the car, get a fuel treatment and the oil change on whatever vehicle it is. Most definitely put the car on the freeway. Don't just drive it around town. That's fine to do, but you need to see how it's going to drive once it gets over 50 and 60, 70. I don't know what the speed limit is where you live, but it's important that you drive the car to make sure that it's not shaking, making crazy noises. Check engine light is not good. So sometimes you have to drive it a little bit before it starts making noise or jumping, or maybe it's idling too high or whatever. You need to listen to how the gears change once you are especially when you take it out on the freeway. Is it transitioning smoothly? Is it having a hard time moving from one gear to the next? Because you definitely don't want to get a car with a bad transmission, because if you do, transmissions are expensive to repair. You want to stay away from that, because if you're driving it and it sounds like it's kind of straining to change from one gear to the next, or it's transitioning rough from one gear to the next, where the car actually moves, all bad. Take it back. Don't get it. If you hear any noises kind of in the trunk area, the motor mounts could be bad on a car. If it's not turning smoothly, if it's hard to turn, that means the power steering belt is probably going out. There are minor things that you can say, if you have enough money to let's just say purchase the car outright, or even in making the payments, if you feel like you have enough money to do the little minor repairs, if it's stuff like I said, the tires may not necessarily be good, or the brakes may sound like they need to be changed. Those are things that, that buying a set of tires is kind of expensive, but these are things that are not super bad. But if you don't have the money to do all that, you need to make sure that everything is good. The brakes, the tires, you know, the AC is working, the heat is working. You can always get another radio for a car. You know what I'm saying? If everything is you know, operating properly, then you know, you can go purchase a radio. That's something that's not super expensive. Well, somewhere it just depends on what type of radio you get. But the functionality of the car, from you getting from point A to point B, that's what's more important. My ex-husband was with me, but at the same time, we were young. We didn't know. I remember we had got this silver Cadillac. It was super nice. But it was a piece of crap. Like, the body, the interior, the radio, all of that was good. But I think we had the car all of 2 days, and like it started making a noise in the engine. And I think it broke down while my ex-husband was going to work or something. I don't remember, but I know it was like, was in a couple of days, like, and they would not do anything, like, and we put a good amount of money at the time down on that car to get that car. He was so upset, and so was I, because you know, that's just like, that money's just gone out the window, and it doesn't matter because they've gotten their money. It doesn't matter. Tote the note means that you pay them there at the car lot. It's not through a bank. Like if you go to a dealership, you know, they use banks like Wells Fargo, so you know, bigger banks. But these smaller car lots, they use finance companies. But look around, don't get discouraged, and don't just get the first car you see. Go and drive, because remember, this is the thing, like, don't be super excited and show a bunch of interest, because they're going to try to get you. You know, that's what they do. They're going to try to talk you into it and make it sound good. But at the end of the day, just remember your budget, what you can afford, what you can't, because you still have to get insurance for your car. Whether you pay cash or whether you're, you know, leasing a car, however you do it, you still have to get insurance at the end of the day. So you need to factor in the fact that, can I afford to pay for the insurance and the car note? Or if you buy the car cash, you should just, you know, be able to afford the insurance. Go look at a few different cars. Don't just be wowed with the first car you get. Go look at some other options, see what you want, and then make a determination. You know, sleep on it. Think about what you really want to do. And I know sometimes that's hard when you haven't been driving and depending on other people to take you here and there, or maybe even riding the bus. I don't know how you're getting around, or the train. And, you know, it can be frustrating because you don't want to have to, you know, riding the bus and train takes time. You have to leave super early. You don't get home like soon as you get off, because those routes take time to get to where you want to be. And then depending on somebody else's schedule, having to work around that is difficult. So I know, like, the possibility of getting a car sometimes is overwhelming, and you can kind of want to rush into purchasing a car. But I guess my one takeaway from this whole video that I want you to remember is to be patient. And I do this every time I go to get a car. I pray for favor. I pray that, you know, God lead me to the right car, so that it'd be the car that I need, you know, that it's affordable, you know, all of those things, so that when I go and purchase this car, it's the car that I need, I can afford, that's a good running car, that's going to last me. But being patient is key, you know, because you have to be when you're out making big purchases. And these are just big decisions when you're spending a lot of money. So I guess that's it. Thank you for watching. And remember, if no one cares, I do. Go out and make someone smile today.